Okay, we are streaming to Facebook. We are now recording. The meeting is yours.
All right. The June 23rd, 2020 joint special meeting of the Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance will come to order. Tim, over to you.
We'll call the special meeting of the Board of Finance to order. I'll turn it back to you.
We'll do a quick roll call. June Strunk, are you on?
I'm here.
Great. And Deb Downey?
I'm here.
Wonderful. All set on our side.
And we'll do a quick roll call of the Board of Finance. Myself, Tim O'Brien, is on. Glenn Frischman?
Here.
Auerbach?
I'm here.
Lynn Young?
Here.
Here.
Deb Norman?
Here.
And Dave Motherway. Dave was on earlier. Did we lose Dave? We might have lost Dave temporarily. We'll keep an eye on that, but with that, we do have a quorum, and I'll turn it back over to you, Danielle.
Okay, great. And if Dave comes back on, he can announce himself. So before making a motion for the Board of Selectmen to consider, I first just wanted to note about, again, the time-sensitive need our sewer system is facing with regard to accessing capital to fund improvements. This is a critical need that impacts residents' daily lives. The letters of support the WPCA received last week from a range of residents and organizations further highlighted these needs, ranging from the impact on our ability to attract new investments to keeping our waterways clean, which is important for both recreation as well as local fishing and shellfishing community. I also again wanted to recognize that it's difficult for representatives in a town having a town meeting form of government to deal confidently and comfortably with the new procedures at our disposal. I don't believe anyone here takes the decisions lightly that we'll be taking today. The taxpayers in Stonington themselves did not vote us in with the understanding that we would be making such decisions, but as elected leaders on both the Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance, we have a responsibility to conduct business and protect our community during an emergency of unique character and of uncertain duration. The governor put these rules into place to be used where there is a matter of public importance. With them, he also put into place procedures that are designed to be substitutes for the way action is taken at a town meeting and the way people participate. Through the WPCA Board of Selectmen Board of Finance special meeting held on June 3rd, plus background documents published on the town website, social media, and through the town email listserv, as well as the reporting done by our two local papers, I believe we were able to share with residents what we plan to do and why. A copy of the resolution and legal notices were filed with the town clerk and were placed on our website. Then finally, during the WPCA public hearing held on June 16th, we were able to publicly consult with the electorate and receive their comments before acting. They heard written testimony from 15 residents and/or organizations, with 14 in favor and 1 opposed. No resident signed up to speak in advance of the public hearing or wished to speak when they were given another opportunity to do so at the public hearing. The WPCA voted to move the consideration of the $10 million appropriation to the Board of Finance and Board of Selectmen after that public hearing. Given the support received by those who engaged in the public hearing, pursuant with Governor Ned Lamont's Executive Order 7S, the Board of Selectmen and the Budget Making Authority, Board of Finance, may authorize municipal general obligation bonds or notes to be issued in anticipation of such bonds to be issued pursuant to Chapter 109 of the Connecticut General Statutes. With all of that long-winded said, could I get a motion in accordance with the Governor's Executive Order 7S to move the consideration of the resolution appropriating $10 million for wastewater treatment facilities and collection system improvements and authorize $10 million in bonds and notes to finance the appropriation to the Board of Finance?
This is Debbie Downey. So moved.
Do I hear a second?
This is June Strunk. I second the motion.
There is a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I have no further discussion.
Nope, I don't either.
So hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, the motion carries. Thank you. And now over to you, Jim.
All right, thank you, Danielle. Now for the Board of Finance, do I hear a motion in accordance with Governor's Executive Order 7S to approve the resolution appropriating 10 million for wastewater treatment facilities and collection systems improvements, and authorizing 10 million bonds and notes to finance the appropriation.
So moved.
Glenn Frischman with the motion. Do I have a second?
Deb Norman, second.
Deb Norman with the second. Is there any discussion from the members of the Board of Finance?
Yeah, if I could, and I apologize, I got cut out there for a second, but I just want to jump in on the documents that we got today regarding the bond, the resolution, the town resolution, and I want to start off just disclosing I did work for the bond counsel, Tobin Carberry, for 5 years from 2001 to 2006, and was of counsel with the firm until 2011. I don't think that, but I haven't worked with them since that time. I don't think there's a conflict there as far as me voting on this. I think it's a great firm, and I think they'll do a good job, but I did want to disclose that. The second point I would make, based on those documents that we received today, that the resolution, the executive order, paragraph 7 of that 7S executive order, I think we want to specify that that we're issuing it under that, and I believe we're under subsection 3 of paragraph 7, which talks about shall be issued pursuant to chapter 109 of the Connecticut General Statutes. And when I look at the and I just looked at it this afternoon, and I think we want to proceed, but we want to make sure our documents are order. When I look at the proposed resolution, it references being issued pursuant to 7-259 of the Connecticut General Statutes, as well as 7-264. Neither of those are in chapter 109, which is what we're authorized to do under section 7S. So I think we just want, again, I support this project. I think that the requirements in that paragraph 7S in regards to having, that there's a need for this to be done in a timely manner, the specific findings that that it's necessary to permit the orderly operation of the municipality. I do believe that those requirements in that paragraph 7 have been met, but I just want to make sure that I believe, and I would just ask that we confirm with council that the reference to chapter 109 means that we should find a section under chapter 109 for the issuance, to ensure that we're in compliance with that. I will note that there is a reference within the resolution that references 7-378 on anticipation notes that you would issue in conjunction with it. That is in chapter 109. So there is one section of the authority that issues it, but the other two, 7-259 and 7-264, are not within chapter 109. And I just think, given we're not having the public vote on this, and it's a rather unique process, I think we need to dot the I's and cross the T's. So again, I just got those this afternoon. So if I'm missing something and I'm misinterpreting, I'm happy to stand corrected in that situation. But it does seem we should find a section under 109 to authorize the issuance. And I'll throw that out there for any discussion.
Danielle, did you want to go over what the process was that we got to this? Because these resolutions have been up on the website since the public hearing, right?
Sorry, yeah, so we can follow up with what Bob just brought up. The resolutions were created by the bond council. So, but again, we're in kind of uncharted territory. So we can double check, because I mean, he is right. It is all issued pursuant to chapter 109 of the Connecticut General Statute. So we can cross-check that. But we did follow everything in terms of, as Bob noted, recognizing the critical nature, the time-sensitive need, and we did check with our health district. So we did check in with Legislative Health District to be sure they also agreed we should not be holding a referendum at this time or in the foreseeable future, and they agreed that it wasn't wise from a health perspective. So we checked everything that was in that executive order pursuant to this, similar as we did for the budget hearing. But we can circle back to the bond council to be sure they're referencing the right statutes underneath it.
Well,
And I'll just point out, chapter 103 specifically talks about municipal sewer systems. So I understand why bond counsel in a normal situation would refer to that. And in a normal situation, that would certainly be the correct one. But because the 7S specifically refers to the 109, and there may be language that pulls us back within 109, and I haven't had time to go through it completely. So there may be language that will make this jump appropriate. But again, of the 3 statutes, 2 of them weren't in that chapter. So I think it's worth just double checking.
We can double check, and I would say when I read it, and I'm not a lawyer like you, so you might have caught something, but I thought they were referencing the things under 109 specifically, and then the others because of the sewer angle. So maybe they needed both in there, but we can cross check to be sure the legal language in the bond before we put it out to bond is accurate.
Danielle,
Yep.
it's Lynn. Did bond council understand we were doing this in the absence of a referendum?
Jim Sullivan, if you do want to weigh in on this, I believe so, but our town attorney also helped us with the language and they knew that. But Jim, do you want to unmute? I don't know if you have any insights on your conversation with bond counsel.
Bond counsel was aware of this, and they've done similar bond issuances for other towns using this methodology.
Okay. Okay, well then, I think we vote on it and clarify it after the fact if necessary, but if they knew it in advance, I don't know why they would say anything different.
I think that we have to rely on bond counsel who does this. And as Jim said, we did go through, Danielle's right, we went through the town attorney, we went through bond counsel to review this, and they have done it for other municipalities, not necessarily for sewers, but for bonding. So I have confidence that what they did is correct, and we're trying to get it all right, but we will just double check one last time with them before we issue it out. Does that sound like a plan, Bob?
Yeah, and I think we can vote on it. I don't want to slow the process. I'm certainly not looking to that. And I'm 70% confident that Joe Sellinger is going to call and tell me why I'm wrong. And I will be the first one to defer because he's one of the best attorneys that I've ever worked with. But I think it's worth making sure that we're dotting the I's and crossing the T's on this. When I went back, I was surprised at the reference specifically to chapter 109 in the executive order. So I think we all are on the same page. I think as long as the bond counsel says that under the statute, we're authorized to do it. But I think we may want to at least suggest or ask about language that indicates we're doing this in a somewhat unique way.
Are there other questions or comments from the other discussion from the Board of Finance?
It's Mike Fowlerback. Just one quick comment. So certainly fully support the proposed motion, as we really can't afford to have our sewer infrastructure fail on us. But as I mentioned in the joint meeting that we had with both the Board of Selectmen and the WPCA, I really do think that we also need to spend the time and money to fully explore the feasibility of consolidating our facilities at some point down the road. I really think that what now is not a sustainable, long-term solution, and it's fairly inefficient. So that that the WPCA is able to that work at the same time that we make the investments that we need to support the failing infrastructure.
Hey, Mike, it's Lynn. One of the things that WPCA did was isolated out about $700,000 or so in year 3 to commence a facilities plan to do exactly that. We can't really do it in years 1 and 2 concurrent with everything else we have to do. A lot going on. But that's our intention, is to embark on that process in year 3.
Okay, great. Thank you for clarifying.
I have a
Discussion.
question for
Go ahead,
Lynn.
Jen.
Sorry, I just wanted to know, well, we could save it for later. There was a study done a long time ago. Is that any relevant to today whatsoever? Could we use any of that information or no?
I think so because it was a pretty comprehensive study. And a lot of the information in it hasn't changed. So I don't see why we can't, but it's still a long-term process. It's still expensive and you got to refresh all the data.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other discussion pertinent to the motion for the bonding? Hearing none, I will do a roll call vote. Myself, Tim O'Brien, I vote in favor, aye. Glenn Frischman,
Aye.
Mike Fauerbach,
Aye.
Lynn Young,
Aye.
Bob Statchin,
Aye.
Deb Norman,
Aye.
Dave Motherway.
Aye.
We have unanimous passage of the motion in front of us. With that, I will turn it back over to you, Danielle.
Thank you all very much. Anything further before we adjourn from Board of Selectmen or Board of Finance?
Nothing from Board of Finance side.
It's just a big thank you to the members of the Board of Finance, Board of Selectmen, and WPCA, and also our director, Doug Nelson, who's on the call, I believe, and Jim and our finance department for pulling all this together. So just thank you. We are adjourned.
Board of Finance is adjourned as well.
Thanks,
you, everybody.
everybody.